So, tell me something terrible.
You're just holding your eyes open to try to stay awake?
No.
No?
I was just stretching my eyelids.
Stretching your eyelids?
Yeah. It's an effective technique for forcing yourself awake.
Oh, I thought maybe it was an effective technique for like nightmare fuel, watching you just open your eyes manually, very large.
Yeah, if I tuck them out and then put them back in.
Yeah. Ugh, can you fold your eyelids?
Not on purpose.
Some people can fold their eyelids, and you have all different sorts of weird, quirky bodily anomalies. I assumed maybe you could.
That doesn't sound like a compliment.
It was meant to sound like a compliment.
Yeah?
Yep.
You failed.
Oh, thanks. You ready to get started?
Yeah, okay.
All right.
Just walking on in?
Yep.
Okay, is this long?
As long as all the other ones.
Okay. Normally if you start like that fast, it's because you're like, I got shit to get to.
No, I'm just tired.
What?
Yeah.
I need you to bring some energy.
I helped tear down part of a fence.
Oh, yeah?
Yep.
You had a long weekend?
I snipped a lot of stuff.
Snipped?
Yeah. Yep. I cut back a lot of things, trimmed a lot of stuff.
Oh, okay.
You know?
We had a very productive weekend.
We did.
So, our house needed most of our energy this weekend. So you're going to get what's left.
Which is not much, guys.
It's alcohol-fueled. What are you doing?
Exhaustion. No, I'm waiting for...
You can ASMR that, Vizzy.
All right. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. Did you want to introduce ourselves first?
No, do that first.
Okay. ASMR the Vizzy.
You can tell spring/early summer is here because Tiff's back on the Vizzy.
Kind of here. It was almost 80 degrees today, and now I think it's like in the 50s.
It's like 65.
Yep.
But yeah, that's
and then by the high is midnight today, and then it's going to drop
tomorrow.
into the 40s. Yeah.
Nobody cares. We don't have that many like 6-year-old men on that listen to our podcast.
Just one really that we know of.
Todd's not 60.
Bet. We got to find out.
He's not 60. No.
No.
I refuse to say that.
Okay.
He's not.
He's 59.
He's not. No. You're besmirching his name.
He's a young at heart.
Either way, he's not 60, you asshole. I'll call you an asshole for him.
Aww.
As he's listening going, I'm not fucking 60. I hope he mumbles some C words at you. Oh. Yeah.
Yeah, but I love a good C word.
Right? Anyway.
Like crop top and cute. Neither of those things are applicable.
Right?
More like
you know what I haven't
cranky
had this year? You know what I haven't had this spring? A coney dog yet. This Friday.
Now that you're off keto?
It's like a Friday tradition. On the way to golf.
Oh, yeah.
Stop it. Whatever.
The doghouse.
Whatever it's called. Not doghouse. Used to be Screaming Mimi's. Now it's...
Oh, Stoyanas?
Stoyanas, yes. Get a coney dog. Eat it. Typically get mustard on some part of my clothing. And then go golfing. Because I'm a child who can't eat and drive.
Usually children,
It's the mustard.
Can't drive or eat.
Coney dogs are a logistic night. I should just stay parked and eat them because it takes me a minute to eat anything.
Yeah.
Because I don't know why, but I eat insanely fast. I grew up poorish, so I think that's part of the problem. But
why? Because you were vying for food against your father.
Yeah, my mom made 5.1 servings for 5 people. And if I wanted that 0.1 serving so I could achieve the childhood obesity that I strived for, so I had to inhale my food and go back for that last scoop of mashed potatoes or corn or meat.
Because we're in the Midwest, and those are your only 3 foods
that was
you eat.
The rounded meal we ate every day.
And then cheese and a glass of milk for dessert.
No, we had to finish our milk. That was with every meal.
Oh.
We didn't have water at the table. It was only milk.
Oh, we lived on water and occasionally, my parents let us have, Kool-Aid and pop, once a day, but the rest of it was water.
Oh, we had pop in the house, but, we had it. It was just in the house, so it wasn't like a treat. It just, if you want one, have one, whatever. Oh. But we didn't have, we did country time. We weren't Kool-Aid so much. It was country time lemonade, which is, one heaping scoop of who the fuck knows what. Twice that amount of sugar and water, and then I became type 1 diabetic. Weird story. Anyway, haven't had country time since. Crystal Light now. We switched to Crystal Light as a family at that point.
Oh, that was really nice of them.
Yeah.
Solidarity. Mm-hmm. Sugar-free lemonade.
Anyway.
We should probably introduce ourselves after that really long meandering.
We had a 27-minute intro. And just kidding. It was like 5 minutes.
I hate you so much. Hi, I'm Tiffany.
I'm Scott.
And you're listening to Tell Me Something Terrible.
Yeah, you are.
We're going to jump right in now.
Are we?
Yep.
Okay.
This
I
one.
feel like there was a tangent that started all that we never actually finished up.
Who knows?
Todd's not 60. That's what it was.
Yeah.
You're an asshole for thinking so. That's what it was.
Anyway, we don't know any of our other listeners. They could be 60.
That's true.
Yeah. Holler at us.
Yeah. I only know the patrons, and none of them are 60, unless Todd is, but he's not. What?
He's 64.
No.
He's actually 85.
I'm going to say he's shy of 55.
Okay. Oh, can we be done speculating?
No.
This whole podcast is actually about... Okay, so this one time he hired us the same day.
He'll message us once this comes out and be like, you fucks, I'm 49. Just kidding.
Okay, sir.
Anyway, proceed.
Okay, proceed. So we're going to do this for our German listener.
Are we?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. You ready?
That's fun.
So.
How many words can't you pronounce in this?
All of them.
Terrific.
The fall of 1921.
Okay. I thought you meant like the fall of man, the fall of something. The fall
of the Berlin Wall.
The autumn of 1921, you're saying.
The winter of your discontent. It means you're going to die.
Okay. But anyway, your season, the fall.
The fall.
The leaves changing of 1921.
Yes, like September through November fall.
Okay.
Okay. Early fall. Of 1921, the Gruber's family made Krezens. Yep.
Okay.
Krezens. You want to read it?
What?
Right there.
Krezens.
Okay.
Sure.
Krezens Reiger decided to quit working for the family on their German farmstead, Hinterkaifeck.
Okay.
So, Krezens works for the Grubers. She decided she was done. She's not going to work for them anymore.
All right.
And this farmstead sat only a third of a mile away from the closest exquisitely small town with a population of 60.
That is a very small town.
Yeah. So she claims that the house was haunted. Footsteps and odd noises could be heard from the attic. And over the following 6 months after she left, Andreas Gruber, the father of the family, would tell neighbors about weird happenings about the farm. So he, too, heard noises in the attic. He also stumbled across unexplainable footprints in the snow that winter leading from the nearby woods to the farmhouse and never back again. So
is this going to be like the Spider-Man of Colorado or whatever kind of thing?
Denver, yeah, the Spider-Man of
whatever
Denver.
It was, yeah.
We'll get to it.
Which is in Colorado. Thank you.
Yes, look at you go. So he sees these footprints that lead from...
Not a poltergeist is what you're saying.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
He sees the footprints that lead from the woods to the house and not back again. So it's just one track of footprints leading to the house.
The call's coming from inside the house.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Andreas also noticed his keys had gone missing, and he found a strange newspaper that no one in the area subscribed to in his house.
Okay.
And then the door to his machine house had been broken, and a neighbor asked if Andreas was interested in borrowing a gun, but he declined the offer.
Okay.
So on Friday, March 31st, 1922, so we're 6 months out now.
We're moving really quick here.
We are.
Okay.
The Grubers welcomed their new maid, Maria Baumgartner.
Okay.
Got that one. So on April 1st, 2 coffee sellers arrived at the farm to take their coffee order, but no one answered the knocks on their door. And then the pair of the coffee sellers, they had a look around and noticed the door to the Gruber's machine house was opened. But instead of investigating, the 2 left.
They got heavy sus vibes, and they're like, I don't want to be any part of this nonsense.
Yeah, I don't want to be a witness to anything.
Okay. I respect that.
So the oldest granddaughter, Kazila, had missed her Saturday class in school, and then the entire family missed church that Sunday. A repairman stopped at Hinterkaifeck to repair the food chopper on the property. No one responded to his knocks either. So after waiting an hour, he decided to repair the machine and just bill them later. And then...
Nobody's going to call a cop.
No.
This entire time.
No.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Seems like seems a little suspicious, but that's fine.
Yeah, like kind of a bad idea.
Like just a wellness check. That's all I want the cop to do.
So when 7-year-old Kazila missed school on Monday, locals and friends finally started to grow concerned.
Okay.
So Friday night, the maid shows up.
Thought maybe they're just doing a long weekend. Gotcha.
Monday, people were like, hey, we haven't seen these guys.
It's been a minute. Yep. Okay.
They didn't go to church, which is clearly a big deal in the 20s. So now people were like, what's going on?
All right.
But neighbors had seen smoke rising from the Gruber's chimney all weekend, and there were signs that the livestock and other farm animals were being fed and taken care of.
Oh.
Even the
Okay.
cows had appeared to be milked over the weekend.
But not by the Grubers.
No.
Terrific.
Yep.
Okay. There's a lot of backstory here.
Uh-huh.
I'm just waiting for the juicy bits.
Okay.
Okay.
Finally, their neighbor Lorenz.
I work with Lorenz.
Look,
He's 78.
get ready to correct me. Get ready to correct me here in a second.
Okay. Correct you like I know any German names.
Schlittenbauer.
Perfect.
Okay. Think I nailed it?
I think you did.
Okay. Lorenz Schlittenbauer sent his son and stepson over to investigate.
Okay.
So they also found no signs of the family, so Lorenz headed over himself with a couple of other townspeople. So this small group decided that they were going to peek into the barn, because at this point, no one had looked at any of the outbuildings. And they're all really close together. None of them were like, hey, like it's not like you have to walk like in the backfield to look.
It's not on like a 200-acre property.
No, they can literally just not even throw a rock, just gently underhand toss a rock and hit the barn from the house.
You could hit it
Yeah.
with your
Yes.
rocket.
And I can't hit the broad side of a barn, so. So, this is where the Lorenz found the bodies of Andreas, his wife, Kazila, because the grandma was named Kazila as well,
Okay, and the 7-year-old, right?
and the 7-year-old.
Look at me remembering things.
Yes, and their grown daughter, Victoria Gabrielle, and their granddaughter, little Kazila, piled on, like nearly on top of one another under a shoddy half attempt at burying the family under the hay.
Yeah. I don't think that's covering them up. That's not burying
They
them.
weren't even covered up. Like, I saw the crime scene photos.
Like hay was just thrown on top of them.
Just the top half of them. Like, you saw, like, their legs and, like, a bottom
They just
third of
didn't
their
wanna see their
torso.
faces.
Yeah, they just covered them up. And next, Lorenz goes to investigate the house because 2 people were missing. So he let himself into the house with a key,
Okay.
and he found Maria dead in her chamber, the maid, in the middle of the floor, covered by her blanket, and then 2-year-old Joseph dead inside his bassinet.
Okay.
Yep. Police were called in.
I was going to say, shouldn't the police be in that active crime scene before Lorenz?
No. Nope. Lorenz had his dirty fingers all over everything.
Terrific.
Yep.
Thanks, Lorenz.
In moving bodies, all different sorts of
The
stuff.
big L.
Even
Perfect.
when they took the big L for a loser. Sorry. Even when they went to go take crime scene photos, the blanket that was over Maria had been removed.
Nice.
Yep.
Terrific.
Great.
Not contaminated at all.
It's the 20s. So police were finally called in, but evidence collected was
Yeah, I
tampered
guess
with.
they weren't going to do DNA evidence anyway.
No,
so.
but they did have fingerprinting in the 20s. Obviously, the evidence had been tampered with at this point, and the scene
Yeah.
contaminated because Lorenz had touched and moved bodies.
Doorknobs.
Yeah, all the doorknobs. He had to have opened at least 3, right? Like into the house, into her room, and then into
Lorenz is
the
a doorknob. That's what we're getting at here.
yeah.
Yes.
Big old doorknob.
I know you love renob. I know it's one of your favorite words. We need to bring that back.
Renob?
Yeah.
That's a good one. That is a good one.
If you don't know what renob is, kids, just Google it.
Will that even show up on Urban
Let me
Dictionary?
see. I don't know what it'll show up on. It'll probably autocorrect or something.
Something we don't know. New slang.
Oh, shit.
So-
Renov is a thing.
What?
Renob. Transitioning from an erect penis to a flaccid penis in a number of seconds. Did you know that's the definition of renob?
Absolutely not. I was like, nah, it's boner backwards. I'm funny. Like, I love
There's
15-year-old
hold on,
jokes.
there's an Amazon link. It's just a fucking shirt that says renob on it.
Oh, no.
It's $16. It can be here tomorrow.
Yes, it can.
Anywho, as you were.
So, Lorenz the Renob touched everything, moved bodies, and there was also additional foot traffic all around the property while the family was missing. So during their investigation, they did find evidence of meals being cooked in the kitchen over the course of 3 days while the family was laying, in the barn, in the house dead.
Yep.
And the entire bread stash had been eaten and meat had been recently cut from the pantry.
Bread stash?
Yeah. Because they have bread.
That's just a weird terminology for it.
Look, they just said all the bread in the pantry
we have
gone.
Candy stashes, and they had fucking bread, like a necessity to live.
Yeah, back in the 20s. Yeah, that shit gets like...
They also had door-to-door coffee salesmen, which today I think would still thrive.
100%. If Uber Eats can make it, so can...
If you show up with like handcrafted designer coffees in ground and bean format at my house for like $10 a bag, I'm going to buy 2 of them. I'm just going to hand you a 20 and take 2 of them.
Yeah.
No questions asked.
Yep.
Anyway.
Don't know what it's
you're
laced
looking
with.
out there to Enterprise. I think door-to-door coffee salesman really got a chance here. Anyway.
Because things like Amazon totally does not exist. That could literally just have a box. Then you don't even have to interact. You don't even have to interact with people. It's just a box that shows up at your house.
Let's be honest. If someone knocked on a door offering to sell you coffee, you would shut that door so fucking fast in their face.
100%.
You'd be like, "Who the? No, fuck you."
I don't want your date rape drug fueled coffee.
Like,
absolutely not.
You're like, you think you can step into my house and try to sell me something? Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure every single person under the age of 40 feels the exact same way.
Yes. So in my brain, it's like, ooh, coffee salesman. Reality, I'm like, I don't want to talk to you people.
I would 100% be sus.
Yeah.
It's like the grown up version of free candy on the side of a van.
I remember when we had a Schwann's guy, and you'd have to play like dodge him on that because you felt like
obligated
bullied to buy your frozen
like $25 for a pound of frozen cheesy tots.
If I need any more sherbet in my life, I'm gonna shit sherbet. Okay, get out of here with your push pops, bro. Anyway, it's not his fault. He's just trying to make a living.
Oh, and they work off commission too, which is like the worst part.
Anyway, go about your business. We're talking about Germany here.
I lost my spot fully. Meat cut from the pantry, bread stash,
bread
evidence.
Stash.
Yes,
the last word. I just kicked our dog in the face because I didn't realize she was underneath my chair. She's fine. She didn't even move. She doesn't care.
She's now concussed.
Yes.
She didn't move because she's fully KO'd.
She'll never move again.
Oh no! Love to get her one of those little doggy wheelchairs so she can pull herself around the house.
And
anyway.
Never WD-40 it so we can hear her coming. The stairs are going to be a real bitch. Ka-chung, ka-chung, ka-chung. Be like Mad Eye Moody stomping through here. Anyway.
So, there was also evidence that the fireplace had been used over the course of the 3 days with witnesses saying, they saw the smoke coming from their chimney.
Yep.
But the ashes were never collected and submitted into evidence, so no one really knows what was being burnt in the fireplace.
I would say wood.
Yeah, you think so?
I think they were just living there.
Evidence.
They were just weird and living there.
For 3 days after they murdered a whole family?
I mean, maybe.
So the animals on the farm were clearly been fed and cared for, so it was determined that the killers had lived there with the bodies for days.
Yep.
So.
Living off that milk.
Sweet, sweet milk.
It's cow's milk. It's whatever.
No, cow's milk is gross. All milk is gross.
It's unpasteurized.
Ugh. When did pasteurization start?
That
was the 1800s?
I don't know.
You studied biochemistry. I thought maybe you knew that. Like,
my
had that in your
grandpa
back
was also a
pocket.
dairy farmer. We didn't talk about the history of pasteurization.
Maybe you would become a dairy farmer if you did.
Probably not.
So, the entire family.
Cows bigger than me kind of make me nervous.
Most cows are bigger than you.
Exactly. Have you ever been in a pen with like 100 cows?
No, I've only ever been in a pen with like 2 at the most.
It's fairly intimidating.
Yeah.
Because
I
they don't like quote unquote like stampede, but they definitely
hive mind
coordinate enough to be like, it's like the bird. They can sense fear a little. They're like, oh, we can bully that.
Yeah, we can intimidate that human being.
Granted, okay.
The bird's a cunt though. She'll straight up juke at your face with her mouth open. The last time I was in a pen with like more than like a dozen cows, I was probably 10 years old. So I was also 4 foot whatever at that point. So I was probably more You're not much taller than 4 foot whatever at this point.
You're so fucking funny. Anyway, I'm much more comfortable now being like a grown-ass human around cows than me where I was like, I can't see this cow's face because it's taller than me. Anyway, I was very small as a child. And obese, as we touched on earlier.
You just made a perfect little volleyball in there for the cows.
Yes.
So the entire family and Maria was sent to the county physician, where it was determined that the cause of death was blunt force trauma to the head by way of a mattock, which is a hand tool used in farming that has a long handle and a wide head with a chisel on one end and a blade on the other.
Okay.
And this was actually found under a false floor in the attic a year later when the house and barns were razed, along with a penknife.
Okay.
So they did such a wonderful job searching the crime scene that they missed two very important pieces of evidence, and it took them a year before they found it.
Do you know who discovered pasteurization?
Pasteur.
Louis Pasteur, yes, in 1863, at the request of the Emperor of France, Napoleon.
Man, pasteurized milk, French kissing,
We could
allegedly 69ing. The French have given us our freedom. The French helped with the Revolutionary War.
Statue of Liberty.
Statue of Liberty.
Anyway, just thought you ought to know. I'm back. I'm listening with you now.
Okay.
I'm not reading Google anymore.
What did I say?
Something about a stabby thing with a pointy end. I don't know. They raised a house. I was listening as much as everybody else.
So the police then theorized,
Pointy thing.
yep, that the crime from the evidence at the crime scene and the autopsies, that the family members were lured one by one out to the barn and murdered.
Okay.
So the last to die was little Kazila. It was also speculated, because of the missing hair from her scalp, that she was not fully dead when the murderers went into the house for the other two members of the family.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah, she had laid she had laid there in the hay next to her family, fatally injured, pulling hair out in clumps, and they found it in the hay.
What? Why would she pull hair out in clumps?
She's 7 years old. Could you imagine being in that kind of pain?
Okay, but I would think it's more likely that she was like dragged.
She could have been.
Like, you know, if you're going to have...
I think they would have seen blood. The pictures are
Maybe.
not
I don't
bloody.
know.
Like,
No,
the crime
yeah.
scenes, there's not blood. I think they did it in the hay. Like, there's no blood on the floors.
I'm just saying, I feel like it's more likely that an adult pulled out her hair than a 7-year-old pulling out her own hair. If she's in pain, that's not like a natural reaction. It's like, oh, I'm in pain, let me yank out my own fucking hair. At 7?
You've never
I don't...
pulled... No, you don't have long hair.
I just don't know if a 7-year-old could yank out her... maybe.
Maybe.
Anyway.
That's what they speculate.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I'm not discrediting their speculation. I'm just
Well, that's the 20s. We can discredit their
I'm
speculation.
just going to make my own hasty, accusations.
So their skulls, all of the members of the family and Maria's skulls, were removed after the autopsies, and they were sent to Munich, where they were examined further, which meant when the family and Maria was buried, they were buried without their heads.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They chopped off their heads.
For some reason in my brain,
shipped them to Munich.
When you said the skull was sent to Munich, I was thinking like the top third of the skull.
No, their
the
whole
fucking
heads.
head. Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
All 6 of them.
Terrible.
Which were later lost during the decimation of WW2. So when Germany was being bombed during the Second World War, they
That's
lost
terrible.
their heads.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and say that this house is still fucking haunted. Like, granted,
There is no house.
okay, but previously there was some
There's just a memorial plaque.
person in their house, and now it's just that area's got to be fucking
The whole,
Yeah.
their whole farm.
Yeah.
So there are over 100 witnesses that were interviewed, but evidence was missed, like the attic, and the fingerprints were never dusted for.
Yep.
So a neighbor mentioned seeing 2 figures on the edge of the woods near Hinterkaifeck. I'm going to fuck that up one of these times. I could be fucking it up now.
I was going to say, if you stay consistent, you will be
Wrong every time.
yes, if nothing else.
If you're
Consistent.
going to be wrong, go big.
Just commit to it, yes.
So, the
2 figures.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Okay. But the figures moved, like they would move their heads away from any lights to obviously prevent any identification.
Mm-hmm.
There was a stranger that showed up a few years later around midnight at a nearby residence, asked a few cues about the murders, and shouted that he was the killer and ran off back into the woods before anyone thought to grab him.
What?
Yeah. So over the years, many...
What? Okay,
This just happened.
that's like out of a movie. It's
Yes.
just a weird ass scene.
Look,
Okay.
this murder. So over the years, many theories...
I feel like the publicity was probably dying down. He wasn't getting off on it as much, so he had to just stir the pot.
Probably. So over the years, many theories as to who may be the murderer and murderers of the Grubers have been presented, but the case still technically remains
Unsolved?
unsolved.
Oh, my favorite.
So later, a group of graduate students did their thesis on the murders and all concluded that the case was wildly mishandled,
Shocking.
even by like 1920 standards.
Okay.
And also came to the conclusion of who committed the murders, but they refused to release any names out of respect for the family members that are still alive.
Oh, so they like think they quote unquote
Yeah.
solved it, but they...
The guy's dead, but they don't want like his family being...
Oh, the murderer's dead.
Yeah, the murderer is
gotcha.
dead.
I was going to say,
Who
respect
they
to
think
the
the
living
murderer
family
is.
members. They all got murdered.
Yeah, the Grubers are gone.
Yeah.
No, the murderer's family.
Yes.
Because it's not their fault that their like grandpa was a monster.
Yep.
So the first suspect was actually Victoria's husband, who wasn't living with them,
Okay.
named Carl Gabriel. So he was reportedly killed
Carl.
Yeah. Fucking Carl. With a K, too.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Even worse.
So he was reportedly killed in a shell attack in France in 1914 during WW1, but his body was never recovered. So some speculate that he actually survived the attack and was released from a POW camp where he finally made it home, only to find out that Victoria had little Joseph because Joseph was only 2 years old.
And he'd been gone longer than 2 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So he was obviously from another man.
In her defense, he thought he was dead.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
So
It's war times. Like, we're going to need soldiers to start pumping those babies out.
Exactly. We're going to have another war here soon. Mm-hmm. No, I guess they didn't really know there was going to be another war.
Maybe they could read the tea leaves.
Maybe. They called World War One the Great War until, Hitler decided he was going to
One up.
one up World War
Yeah.
One.
Show up World War One.
Now we have Putin one-upping Hitler.
I don't know about that.
No, he's not one-upping Hitler.
Let's not go that far.
I don't know. There's a lot of space in Russia. We don't know what's going on
Russia's fucking huge.
there. Yeah.
I'll give him that.
So Joseph obviously was from another man,
Joseph.
possibly the neighbor,
Okay.
possibly her father.
Oh.
Yep.
Let's go with the neighbor.
Nope, because Victoria and Andreas both served jail time for incest in 1915.
Okay.
And it
Wait,
is-
jail time?
uh-huh.
Okay.
She was sent there, I think, for like a month or two, and the dad was in jail for a year.
Oh, well, she got sent there for 9 months, technically. Sorry, that's a bad joke.
No, because it was happening in 1915. So this was like a year. Ooh, this was like a year after Carl was killed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Ugh.
Yep.
So it's speculated by the locals that the relationship may have continued.
Let's make the joke that there's red flags everywhere there. Yeah.
So it was speculated by the locals that the relationship may have continued after being convicted.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
Imagine that.
Yep. In one source I was reading, they used the R word. They don't think it was consensual.
Yeah, I was gonna say relationship might not be the R word you're talking about.
No, it's much shorter. It's a 4-letter R word.
Yeah, like rice.
Yeah, it rhymes with grape.
Yeah.
Yeah. With a G. Grape. Okay. Well, sorry. If I explain the joke, it gets funnier, right?
No.
Okay.
No.
So it's postulated that...
We all know how to spell grape here.
Are you sure?
Yes.
So it's postulated that Carl came home, grew jealous, and murdered the entire family.
After he lived in the attic creepily.
Mm-hmm.
Acted like a ghost, yes.
Yeah. And it was reading, a non-local newspaper and stealing the house keys.
Whoa.
Okay. Which brings us to the neighbor, because that could also be Joseph's dad.
Okay.
Who offered...
The one that had a key?
Yeah. The one that who let himself into
what was
the
his
house. Lauren Schlittenbauer.
Lorenz.
Lauren Schlittenbauer.
Lorenz.
Yep.
Not Lawrence.
Not Lawrence. Lorenz. Sounds much more fancy.
Farnsey?
Yep. So he also had offered his gun up for protection, though. So Lorenz Schlittenbauer, who's the neighbor / potential lover / possible father of Joseph.
/ potential murderer.
Yep. So rumors abound that Lorenz, it's literally the easiest fucking name. It's the second easiest name of this entire fucking situation, and I just keep slaughtering it.
I also...
It's because it's spelled with a Z, and it's just throwing me off just enough.
Well, and it's like, for me, it's easy because I know a Lorenz, personally.
Nope.
Which
not
makes
me.
it funnier. And you're just,
just fucking it up.
Mucking it up at every turn.
And it's so easy. It's literally spelled Lorenz. It's so easy.
Mm-hmm. Lawrence, as you were
Lawrence.
saying.
So rumors abounded that Lawrence knew more about the murders than a typical onlooker should. Things that only the murderer would have privy of knowing.
Ignore.
You didn't break that, right?
No.
Okay. So
that's my ASMR wine glass, by the way.
So allegedly, he was making statements to another local who spotted him poking around the remains of the demolished farmhouse. He would say things like how the killer couldn't bury the bodies that time of year because of the frozen ground.
Maybe he's just super smart.
That's the thing. People were also like, yeah, but he was their neighbor. He knows, like, the ground was frozen.
Yeah, and they all farm to a certain extent, more than likely.
And, yes, and they're all going to speculate and make comments. Like,
yeah,
it's 60 people in this town. There's a large peanut gallery.
It's mostly guilt by proximity at that point, yeah.
Yep. So it was also speculated that Lorenz had a financial motive to be rid of the Grubers after Victoria allegedly asked him for child support.
Oh, so she at least admitted by asking him for child support that there was at least some sort of relationship there.
Yes.
Okay.
So other locals were up for suggestion as well, as far as suspects go.
Okay.
A couple of different pairs of brothers.
Can't wait for you to just demolish these names.
I'm going to fuck up that maid's name again.
I do wonder, our German listener, if you're listening, and you always do, which we appreciate, have you heard of this case at all?
It is the most famous unsolved murder in Japan.
In Japan?
Jesus
wow,
Christ.
You went a little east there.
They are also part of World War II.
In
Germany.
Okay,
yeah.
So definitely they've heard of this.
I would hope so.
Feel free to tweet
this is like,
Facebook us your opinion, as you are more familiar with this case than we are.
Yes, and there's an official website.
And we don't know who you are.
Yeah.
That'd be fine too.
There's an official website, and I could only read so much of it because you had to make a user account.
Of German?
Well, I could translate it, but it was just the main pages that were translated.
Okay.
And you had to have a user account to like download all the PDFs and stuff. I'm like, but I'm going to download this PDF and it's going to be all in German, and I cannot translate it.
Yeah.
And I am a product of the American education system. I know one language. I barely passed Spanish.
Right.
So there's a couple. I didn't actually put names in here because there's like a bunch of them.
Gotcha.
So there's a couple pairs of brothers who were on the suspect list, all of which were accused by the Gruber's former maid, Cresens Reiger. So one set of brothers, according to Cresens' testimony, would talk with her through the windows at the farmstead at night, and then one brother claimed to know where each family member slept. So there's a second set of brothers.
That's extrapolating out that relationship to the nth degree.
Yeah. She's like, oh, these people would talk to me through the window.
And they know where everyone sleeps.
Yeah.
I know where most people's bedrooms are in a house.
They're pretty easy to figure out. Also, he killed him in the barn, so who gives a shit? Like, if you kill them in the barn, take the house key off of the person who's in the barn and let yourself into the house. Or they probably didn't even lock the house. It doesn't matter if you know where the bedrooms are. Everybody else is already dead. No one's going to stop you from going in there and finding a bedroom and killing somebody. Yeah. It's pretty easy to figure it out. It's the room with the bed in it.
Yes.
So,
that also has that person's clothes in the closet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So there were a couple of different pairs of brothers, like I said. The second set of brothers, which also included a third wheel, a friend, they all used to work for the family, and she also claims to have spoken to them through a window at night as well.
What a weird situation. Mm-hmm. It's like a Taco Bell drive-thru.
But for murderers.
Sorry, we're out of the chalupas tonight. Anyway.
The only thing we have on the menu is Gruber's.
The ice cream machine's broken.
That's McDonald's. You're getting your fast food.
I just said broken.
No, it's close. So this set of suspects has a little more credence, though, because the family dog would never bark at one of the brothers, and no one heard the dog barking.
Okay.
So one of these...
You don't think if it was the husband of the long-lost person who that dog definitely probably knew too, it would bark?
Maybe. But one of the brothers had carved the handle of the murder weapon.
Oh, well.
So it was speculated that he knew where it was kept.
Okay, yep. Now you're getting some real evidence.
Mm-hmm. So it was also speculated that the third wheel of this set of suspects had previously stolen from that property in the first place. The only problem with these accusations is there's no signs of robbery. It's just a family genocide and the taking care of the farm and the animals over the following days. There's there was still like a large stash of money. So robbery was not a motive.
Gotcha. It's not like he robbed once and was going to come back and murder for sport, essentially.
Yes, they're killing for sport.
Yeah.
Jurassic World style.
Yeah.
So there were random people confessing to the crime over time. One woman claimed her sons confessed to the crime. One of her sons stating that he regretted losing his penknife.
Okay, that's a shitty... I'm really sad that I lost my knife murdering those people.
Yeah. And then another claims that a third set of brothers, one of which was already a suspect back in April when the crime was first discovered. His name was Adolf.
Not.
Fallen out of fashion.
Okay.
So he confessed on his deathbed that he and his brother were the murderers. So the other brother was taken into custody, but there wasn't enough evidence to prove that he was involved.
His deathbed wasn't in a bunker, right?
No.
Okay.
With a gun.
Good. Yeah. Okay, good.
No.
All right. Just ruling things out here.
Nope. So the wildest theory...
That would be the wildest twist you've ever thrown at me in any podcast.
Hitler.
Yeah, if you're like, oh, and the hat... Just kidding.
No, yeah. The other brother. He had a little mustache.
Did Adolf have any siblings?
I have no idea.
Anyway, back to what you were talking about.
So...
That's a tangent that could take its own,
6 episodes.
Turn. Yeah.
So the wildest theory presented by author Bill James, who wrote a book on the subject... What are you doing?
You just focus on you, lady. Sorry, I got to put this down.
Yeah, you do. He's just over here spinning a piece of plastic dowel rod that's hollowed out from a child's toy.
And using it as a periscope?
Yeah.
Yes. I'll stop.
So the wildest theory...
I've been drinking. Don't judge me.
It was presented by author Bill James, who wrote a book on the subject.
Bill James? Is he American?
Yeah, I have no idea.
That's the whitest name you could come up with.
The Germans are white, too.
I meant Americanized.
Yeah.
Yes. White American name, yes.
Yeah, very simple. We can't have too many syllables in our word.
James.
Look what happens when you put
double
two...
first namers.
Yeah.
Anytime I give the last name Reese, people I think just assume it's my first name.
Yeah, I don't correct people either.
Anytime I call and order anything, they're like, can I get a name for the order? I'm always like, Reese. Do with it what you want.
Yeah. Nope. I don't correct people. I've had people call me Reese at restaurants when I've grabbed
it's also
takeout.
kind of can go for both genders. So
it's a very pretty name too.
It's just the most pretty. We should name our child Reese
you.
Reese,
No,
Wilson
don't.
Wilson.
No. Mm-mm. Ow!
Finish your story, lady. Don't touch my plastic towel rod.
So this theory puts forth that an American serial killer named Paul Mueller may be responsible for the murders. So Paul was the only suspect in an 1897 murder of another entire family back in Massachusetts. And Bill suspects that he may also be responsible for dozens of other unsolved murders in the U.S. Mueller was described as a German immigrant. He also claims that Mueller may have jumped back across the pond after detectives and journalists were starting to make out a pattern in family murders across state lines.
Isn't there a word for that?
In MO.
Familicide?
Familicide? That only happens if it's within a family. Okay. Yeah, so your family annihilators are familicides. Yeah.
Okay.
So people started noticing that he had an MO, they're just families, whole families
this is Jack
getting
the
murdered.
Ripper 2.0, essentially?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Across state lines. So this wound up including 2 families in one night in Colorado Springs and a similar murder in Kansas. All of these following the same MO as the murder of the Grubers, no apparent robbery. All of them were isolated farmsteads, all of them with the blunt end of a farm-related weapon.
Okay.
It's also speculated that Paul Mueller may have been responsible for the Villisca axe murders.
Okay.
Sound familiar?
Yeah, we watched the Ghost Hunters or Ghost Adventures on that.
So there were cigarettes found in the attic, indicating that someone had camped out waiting. So they think he may have started to get caught on, and he jumped the pond and murdered this family next. Okay. So despite the long list of suspects, no one has ever been arrested for the murders, and the case was closed in 1955. And today, the Hinterkaifeck... fucked it up. Very last time I made it this far.
Now. Yep.
The Hinterkaifeck Murders remain Germany's biggest unsolved murders.
Huh. And I've never heard of them. Have you heard of the Bill Mueller guy or whatever?
No. Paul Mueller?
Paul Mueller, sorry.
Nope.
Bill James. Paul Mueller.
Yeah. I obviously had heard of the Villisca axe murders. Yeah.
But I've never heard of that guy before.
Nope. I haven't heard of these either.
No.
I mean, knowing this, there's podcasts you can listen to that are actually in German.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Is it hard to listen to not a language?
I didn't even click on it. I just saw the titles were in German, and I was like, absolutely not.
I hate when I find an artist who had like that remake of that Tom's Diner, and that artist who has the sweet voice that you see on TikTok, and you click on it, and every other song he has in fucking German. I'm like, I could listen to this as background music, but I can't like enjoy it.
Truly enjoy it.
Because I don't know what he's saying, and that's just unfortunate because like the voice is so awesome. But anyway,
I tried to get our German foreign exchange student to teach me a little bit of German, but he was like, I think
he saw you as a lost cause.
Yes, that's exactly it. He was like, it's complicated. He's like, I can't even explain to you, because also there's like a second language. English as a second language too.
Well, and it's not like a 1-for-1. Like I feel like it
no,
takes,
and like the
context.
word that I think represents the word "the" has different, like just as simple stuff like that has different meanings.
Yeah, exactly. It's not one. There has to be like the context and everything to it. Yeah.
At least it's not like French with your like feminine and Spanish does that too with your feminine and masculine.
Yeah,
words.
but that's only if you're like writing. Like I feel like in like dialect, you go so fast, like it just kind of gets blended.
Yeah, and I can barely understand English if somebody's talking too fast at me. So.
Wow.
It's not other languages. It's all languages and directions in general.
The height of your anxiety walls is so high for people to shout over. It's really hard to hear them once it comes down.
Fuck off. I don't even like you. I don't even know why I married you.
That truth just burns so hard. Anywho.
Sources.
Oh, you have sources.
Wikipedia.
And naturally.
Ranker.com.
Only in your country, Germany.
No. Ranker.com. 11 disturbing facts about the unsolved Hinterkaifeck Murders, and www.hinterkaifeck.net. So if you want to join it and get access to all of those PDFs in German and translate them for me, I would love to learn more. There's discussion forums and everything.
So this comes out on the 26th.
Sure.
Which means we have this episode. I will be doing the Patreon episode this week, and that'll come out on Saturday more than likely, maybe earlier. We'll see when we record it. So if you need an episode between this Tuesday and next Tuesday, Patreon, 3 tiers. Top tier gets you some sweet merch.
Top tier? Oh, $5?
Yeah, the $5. Yeah, I say top.
$5 is the top tier, guys.
$1 gets you a bunch of bonus episodes. Anyway, and then
Scott's much more concise. He doesn't stumble over his words nearly as badly as I do.
We're thinking about doing a bonus episode too, where I do the story and you do the chiming in, just to give you guys a taste of what the Patreon is.
Just see what you're missing out. Get some FOMO going.
We also, we did one when the power was out here for like 9 days.
That's
and we
true.
were forced to release a Patreon episode as a weekly episode.
Yeah, back when like we cared that weekly episodes were happening, and now it's like, nope, we're going on vacation, guys. Bye. Sorry.
Hey, we did the trailer.
We only did that a couple times.
We did the trailer.
We did, yeah, that's
re-release.
true.
Anyway, if you made it this far,
congratulations.
Thank you. And if you're a German listener, we will send you a pin if you reach out to us. I will send you one personally.
Yeah.
That shipping will probably be ridiculous.
Nah, it's the tiny pin.
Okay, but it's going a very long way.
That's true.
Anyway, reach out on social media, or don't. Or I guess we have our audience is very concentrated here in the great state of Michigan. I say great state with a smirk on my face.
Bipolar state of Michigan.
Very nice beaches. But then it is very scattered. Like our listen map is in a weird, and I don't know if that's because of like our social media, I'd say that loosely, like outreach or whatever, but we have a very wide net with not a lot of fish in it, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So we appreciate you all.
We do.
Wherever you're listening.
Yep.
Even if English isn't your first language, it's barely ours. So
exactly.
You're amongst friends.
Yes.
All right. You good?
Yep.
You got your sources?
I read my sources.
Yes.
We're all set.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Oof, that was terrible. Thanks for listening to our terrible podcast. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Google Podcasts, or wherever you like to listen. Feel free to follow us on Twitter at TMSTPod.
And if you'd like to support the show, you can find us on Patreon at Tell Me Something Terrible.